come from. Because of you and nothing we've done.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to all my new subbies. Thank you for joining the family, and if you're not subscribed already, click the subscribe button before you get started on this video, okay? Thank you. Like I said, I'm doing like a series of university experiences, and so there are other videos that are going to be coming out after this one. But in today's video, I'm just going to be doing my university experience on how I got in. So if you guys have watched the first video, you remember when I talked about how my choices of university changed, and that's because initially I wanted to go into uni to study pharmacy. Now what happened, or let me backtrack. In the UK, before you go into university, you have to go to either college or sixth form, so where you do A-levels. And I went to do A-levels, and you can either study 3 subjects or 4 subjects, and we have A1 and A2. In A1 I did 4 subjects. I did mathematics, chemistry, geography and biology. And so you sit exams every year. So A1 you sit an exam, and then A2 you sit your final exam that gets you into university, and those grades you get are a requirement. So the university will tell you, oh, we need A, B, B to study, for example, chemistry or something. It doesn't matter what subjects you study, they just want A, B, B. So most people, if you're going to do chemistry, it only makes sense for you to study chemistry at A-levels, because then you'll kind of have an understanding of the subject when you get to university. So I wanted to do pharmacy, so I did chemistry and biology. And then mathematics was because I just liked maths, and I did really well in GCSE. And so in GCSE, you kind of do really well in your GCSE exams, and you get pumped and hyped, and you go to like A-levels, you can go to like a sixth form, or you can go to a college or something like that. So my GCSE was fine. I got into A-levels, and it was very, very tough. I felt like A-levels were unnecessarily really tough. I don't know why. But A1, I did okay in the exams, but I wanted to resit some of the exams. So mathematics, I wanted to either continue with it or drop it. So you can drop one of the subjects. So I dropped mathematics instead because I didn't do so well. But in hindsight, I should have stopped on with mathematics and dropped biology, because I was struggling with biology. And my brother did maths, and he's a really smart guy, and we could have helped each other with maths basically. And he would because he did his maths like really early on, so he would have helped me when it came to the resit period. We'll study together and all of that stuff. But I dropped maths instead, because maths does occupy your time. You have to be calculating a lot, and I was spending too much time doing mathematics. Anyway, this story is getting too long. So A1 finally finished, and then I went into A2. A2 is when you start applying for universities, and so I was applying to pharmacy schools and things like that. And my predicted grades were not good enough, but I mean, you try your best and just apply to those schools. Make sure your personal statement's really good and you have good references. And so my personal statement was good, but when I was doing my personal statement, my friend who was checking my personal statement was like, Priscilla, are you really sure you want to do pharmacy? Like, what you're explaining to me, your passion is not really pharmacy based. And I was like, no, yeah, I want to do pharmacy, because, you know, growing up, like, you kind of like just think of it like, oh, pharmacy, medicine, lawyer, pharmacy, accountant, those are like the staple African jobs, right? Or like if you come from an African background. So I was like, no, pharmacy, I can hack it. I did a work experience in a pharmacy, and I didn't actually like it because I was just standing for too long. I didn't really like it, to be honest. But I still went ahead, and only one school at that time actually offered me a place, and it was a really good school, Lincoln University, and they offered me a place because my interview was really good. So now A2, the exams came, I had some resits, and then I had my A2 exams as well, so I sat those, and it felt okay. Like the last day was biology, and that exam was actually hard. Like Me and biology don't do well. That exam was really hard. But fast forward, results day came. So you can check on UCAS, you can check like if you go into the school and stuff like that. And a lot of people talk about clearing, and when they talk about clearing, you kind of think of clearing as a bad place. So at this point I was like, I don't want to go to clearing, but my results were not good, so I had to go through clearing. And I was devastated. I was literally shattered. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a plan B. I was just like, what is good? I cried so much. Like, at that point I didn't know what to do, and I just shut everybody out. Like, all my friends from A levels, I just cut them out. I just shut everybody out basically. I didn't tell anybody what happened. Only a few people knew. Like, I cried so much, like so much. I just went home and I just felt like a failure at that point. I just felt like my whole life's dream, everything had just like shattered basically. And it wasn't that my results were not bad, but they were not good enough to get me into pharmacy school, and they were not good enough to get me into the school that offered me a place. And at this point I was like, I don't know what to do. And you know, when you sleep to forget your sorrow, and in the middle of your sleep you just wake up and you remember your sorrow and you just start crying again. That was me. I literally at that point now I was like, do I take a gap year? Do I go back to A levels and redo like those exams and take those classes again? Or do I go through clearing? Like, I really didn't know what to do. But I was gearing more towards like gap year, because I felt like, okay, if I take a gap year, maybe I'll know what I want to do, and then I'll resit the exams and then get into the school I want to get into. But then also people were just like, oh, try clearing and see if you get anything from clearing. So I was going through clearing and everything like that, and it was stressful. Clearing is stressful only because schools are going like really quickly, and so you just have to secure the place ASAP, and sometimes you might end up taking what you don't want to do. So it's very important for you to take your time, as much as there's not time, but just take your time. And then my friend, one of my really good friends, she at this point when I didn't know what to do, she gave me this word, this Bible verse that stuck with me ever since. So it was Jeremiah 29 verse 11, and it says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and hope." I actually like it in the King James Version. It says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." So at this point she just said, "Priscilla, you know what, God always has a plan. Maybe pharmacy was not for you. This is not the end of the road. Whatever you decide to do, like, God has a plan, and there's always a reason for everything." And now that I look back, I definitely see that there's a reason for why I didn't go into pharmacy. Like, I wouldn't have been able to like survive. And I actually didn't enjoy my work experience in a pharmacy. So looking back now, everything happens for a reason. And so I held on to that word, and every day I'll just pray, "God, I know you have a plan for me, not of evil. I'm not a failure." Like, it's so easy to feel like a failure. But eventually I got two schools. I got geology and I got pharmaceutical chemistry at two different schools. And so it was easy to get confused because I love geography. I did geography and I did really well. And I love chemistry as well. So one of my aunties called me up and she said, "You have these two schools, okay, make a list, the pros and cons for going to those schools and what they have to offer, and what's the pay when you come out of university at that point. How easy is it to get a job? Geology is really good. You can get a job quickly with geology. The environment is for the uni, I'm like, there were pros and cons to everything. Where I eventually went to school as well, it's not like it's the best place. Like I said, it's rainy and all of that stuff. But I really, really liked chemistry, and that was my strongest grade. And so the two schools offered me a place, but I had to drop one. And I took pharmaceutical chemistry because they offered a sandwich. It was a sandwich course at that point. And that course was basically a sandwich that you go on a placement. At that point, I didn't even understand what sandwich was or placement was. It just sounded really cool. So at that point, I decided I would take the pharmaceutical chemistry course and just see how it goes. And so I told them my grades, and my A-level grades weren't that strong, but my GCSE grade was strong. So they said, okay, we'll take you on board. And I came in as a BSc student. I didn't even know they offered like MSci at that point either. And bearing in mind, I've never been to this school. I didn't go to open day. I've never even heard of this school. The only time I bumped into something close to drug making or anything like that was pharmacology, when I was doing my research, when my friend told me that she doesn't think pharmacy is what I really want to do. But anyway, I came into the university. The first day it was daunting and everything like that, but I remember they were like, okay, we have MSci students and we have BSc students. If you want to be an MSci student, if you want to move up to MSci, you have to do really well in your second year. You have to get 60% and above for them to move you to an MSci. So at this point I was like, Priscilla, we're working to become an MSci, because I didn't want to do a BSc and then come out and then go do a master's again. It's better to just get everything integrated in one. Again, at this point, I didn't even understand what the MSci entailed of. It just sounded really cool. I got into university. My friends went into university as well. Another reason why I chose to go to university that year was because of pride. But God was teaching me so many things. I was just prideful. I didn't want to feel like I was the only one that didn't go to university that year. Although taking a gap year, there's nothing wrong with taking a gap year. There's nothing wrong with resitting the year. It's just, if you think that's what you want to do and that's the course you really want to go for, then I would advise you to just redo that year if you want to do that. And also, the thing with grades and degrees is the more accolades and degrees you get, the more the bad ones, like, you push them off your CV sort of. So that's what someone also said to me when I was deciding, should I go to uni or should I retake the year. Got to uni, first year I was like, bang on, I have to do really well. I mean, like, it's sort of the same as A-level first year, so I was like, there's no reason why I shouldn't do well in my first year. And also because first year I didn't have a lot of biology, so it was mainly chemistry. I had biochemistry, but that's biology and chemistry combined together, and that was good. That's the only biology level that I can go to. I don't like biology. First year was really good. And first year determines the grades you get in first year, although it doesn't count in every university in the UK. It does count for if you want to go on placement. And so you have to do really well so that employers can see you as a serious student and then employ you. And so I did well in first year. Second year came, I started looking for placement. Maybe I should do like a placement story as well, because the placement story, everything that God has done in my life, I feel so grateful, because even the placement I had, it was like the best experience of my life. And it was because one of the lecturers in the lecture, he was just like, oh, there's this placement in this place, if you want to go, just email me and I'll send you the details and everything. The journey to that placement is another story for another day, but it was such an amazing experience that I just thank God. And now that I've finished my degree, I can look back and really, really, truly thank God for everything He has done for me. I'm so grateful. I don't want to cry, but I am so grateful, and I see that Jeremiah 29:11 is so true. The plans He has for us are way more than what we can think or imagine. And the Bible says that He that began a good work in you, He's faithful to complete it. And God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. The plans He has for us, we can't imagine it. Like, even now, it's hard for me to understand what God has planned for me, but just trust in God that He will lead you and guide you in every way. And I remember coming to uni, the first day I got to my accommodation, because everything was so last minute, and I got to my accommodation, I said to God, God,
You made a way when our back